Oh hey everybody, Jugs here back on my BS again, and I'm here creating a game that'll sure be a hit of course. So, it's me using VBA, which is a very tedious program, but once you get used to it, it's very easy to get a handle. So let's take a look over here. Now I just to delete the crabber here, this is still in debug phase, so all I gotta do here is just click the button, and ta-da, you win the game. All you gotta do now is just reward yourself with a beer in hand, only if you can implement an achievement system. But that's in VBA 2020 though. Hopefully when that comes out, we'll implement it soon. And Kickstarter done. Now we only just gotta ask for $10,000 to fund this project. But now that you think about it, wouldn't it be better for a game this short to just put in a compilation game like Wario Ware Inc? Now that you think about it, I'm gonna try it out for myself. See if I get a little bit of inspiration from it in the process.
So, WarioWare for the Game Boy Advance. You know, when I first heard about this game is when I was playing Wario World for the GameCube, and I noticed that in the hub world, there was an odd looking character that seemed out of place. So like the curious gamer I was born to be, I punched it to see what happens. Turns out I need a Game Boy Advance with a link cable and a copy of Wario Ware Inc. in order to do extra content in the game. I had a Game Boy Advance at the time, but no link cable, let alone a copy of Wario Ware Inc. In the end, I just said screw it and continue on. It wasn't until the Wii era till I heard the name WarioWare again under the subtitle Smooth Moves. I borrowed it from a friend of mine, and once I popped it in, I was hooked from the get-go. Not long after returning the game, I decided to look up other games in the series. Lo and behold, WarioWare Inc. appeared right in front of my eyes.
Oh, it sounds like something out from a rom-com anime. Hold up, I think I'm gonna hurl.
Clean up on aisle 6!
So of course I took my money from the various odd jobs I did in high school and bought myself a copy of the game, and the rest was history as I step into the WarioWare rabbit hole. So what type of game is WarioWare Inc? Well, that is a good question, my fellow viewers. It's an amalgamation of themed minigames that can be finished in 5 seconds or less. No, I'm not kidding about the 5 seconds or less, because not including the boss levels, the minigames can be done in blazing fast speeds.
Well, why there are 5-second minigames in the first place? Also, how is Wario involved?
Well, if you know Wario, he is quite a greedy cunt, and like any person trying to make money, he's trying to take advantage of pop culture.
In the case for Wario, he is trying to get in on the video game cash cow. And to do that, he created a software company known as WarioWare Inc. He invites everyone around town to make video games with the promise of giving the cut of the profits. I mean, it's that simple of a story, but you never play these types of games for the story anyways.
But Jugs, you haven't explained why there are 5-second minigames!
Well, my dear alter ego, I can't tell you the reason why the developers did 5 seconds in the first place, but I can tell you how the game first started off.
For some who don't know, WarioWare started off as an extra in the 64 disc drive game called Mario Odyssey Polygon Studio. Say that 5 times fast. Keep in mind the 64 DD was never released stateside, so for a bit of time we missed out on a small part of gaming history. Games were finished in 3 seconds or less, and speed ups to increase tension. The only thing that was missing is adding Wario into the mix, and that is what the creators did years later. By adding things into many of the microgames, the creators created wacky games in the process in lieu of its predecessor. Themes like 9-Volt focuses on past Nintendo games, Dribble and Spits focuses on sci-fi and microgames, and many more. You just have to unlock the other things by completing stages. So how do you complete each stage? Well, you gotta clear a certain amount of minigames before your 4 lives run out. See, you just can't fail a minigame and just mosey on like nothing happened, because if you lose all 4 of your lives, you have to start all over from the stage at the very beginning. Each minigame has a certain task you have to do, whether it's to assemble a mech, grab a coffee while sliding onto the bar, to more avant-garde microgames. They only give you 5 seconds, so if you mess up once, you mess up completely, and that is where your adrenaline starts pumping. Going further into the stage, the speed of the minigames increase to the point where it could give a senior citizen serious heart palpitations. Each stage has 2 speed ups, so get those trigger figures ready for anything. Once you reach the limit of the minigames, you do a boss stage, which consists of longer minigames that are not timed. Boss stages include a Punch-Out ripoff, a boss battle in lieu of classic dungeon crawl RPGs, and many more. Once you defeat the boss stage, you move on to the next level. It's not that games are hard either. As a matter of fact, it is quite welcoming to newcomers and veteran gamers alike because of how simple the game is to play. You can even tell the developers were having fun making this game too, because a lot of the minigames designs are very creative. I mean, whoever thought defeating flying noses by picking at the orifices will do the trick? That is wacky in itself. With 200 minigames jam-packed into a GBA cartridge, who knows the minigames you might find that will make you laugh because of how strange and offbeat the minigames are. Plus you get the occasional "it came from Japan" flair added to the humor. You can beat this game in one sitting and calling it a day, but you are just ignoring the extra content the game has in store. You probably haven't seen all 200 minigames this one little cartridge has in store. You can replay each stage and get those missing minigames and show off your high score to your friends.
Yo, dude, I just got the 50 stations in Jimmy T's up.
Who the hell cares? Go play a better game, you moron.
Ugh, I think I might have shown too much of my middle school years. Here's a video of Wario shaking his ass!
If you want to test your endurance, there are 4 stages that let you do that. One of them is the easy tower, which is basically all speed level 1 minigames. Get the high score on that stage, then you get thrilling, which is all speed level 2 minigames, but the caveat is that it only gives you 1 life. So if you scrooge the pooch, game over, pal. Now if you manage to endure 15 stages in thrilling, then you get hard, which is all speed level 3 microgames, which truly test your sanity at this point. Finally, you get the total boss tower, which is all the boss stage minigames combined. Nothing too difficult since the boss stages are not that hard to begin with. I know I am missing some extras in this game, and there is a reason. Well, 2 to be exact. One is because they are versus games and I don't have an extra GBA nor a link able to play it with someone. I don't have a disposable income, guys, sorry. The second reason why I didn't unlock them is because the last 3 stages require you to clear over 25 minigames in each of the Jimmy stages, and knowing how my patience is, I'm not down for it. However, with a bit of convincing from my little brother, he managed to help me unlock the games. The first of these unlockables is a reskin of Dr. Mario, conveniently named Dr. Wario. Besides minor differences, this is basically your typical Dr. Mario game, but with only 1 track playing in the background. There's not much to complain besides the fact that Wario is a doctor. Honestly, would you make an appointment with a guy that looks like this? You would probably charge a hefty co-payment fee just for a routine check. Sounds like the kid in Florida who almost got away making his own practice, but that is besides the point. Another unlockable is Sheriff, which is based on the original arcade game with the same exact name, except it has Wario as the character you control. Then this is the part where the extras get a bit one-dimensional. The other game you unlock is Fly Starter, which is a minigame for Mario Paint. The premise is simple. Smack away the flies that appear on the screen and attempt to get the high score. Jump Forever is just Wario playing jump rope and see how long it can last. Skateboarding is basically Nineville jumping over and dunking obstacles while riding a skateboard. And finally Paper Plane, which is based on one of Mona's microgames. However, it's an endless version of it to see who gets the high score. 999 is the high score. I want to know how they done it. Oh. It's a tool assisted speedrun. Never mind! But wait, there's more! We're not done here just yet because we need to touch up on the games when you unlock all microgames and get medals in all of them in practice mode. See, in order to get a medal, you have to go to practice mode, select the microgame you want, and repeat it until you get 20 or some different number. I actually have to look up a guy in order to know how many times I have to beat the same microgame.
But Jugs, you're crazy if you actually did all that work.
Well, I guess I'm crazy now because I did it for every game. Let me repeat that clearly. Every fucking game!
So many failed attempts, but yes, I did it all. And what do you get after doing all that, you may ask? 2 more extra games, Pure and Pure 2, which is basically 2 simple games where you control a bird eating or blowing up beans, and that is pretty much it. Hold up, stop the recording for a second. This is my rant towards the director. How the hell you expect me to be genuine to my audience after I just went 2.5 hours grinding these microgames in order to get these 2 minigames that are worth jack shit in the end? And how do you expect me to go in front of them and say, oh, you should really do it, this is the fun part of the game, this is how you're supposed to play the game to its full potential? Well, no, it's fucking not! Okay, I'm fine now. I just need to breathe a bit. Deep breaths, Dennis. Deep breaths. And we can finally get back on track. Now that we got everything in the game, let's now close this off. Wario Ware Inc. is the type of game you pick up and finish in 1 seating. Within that 1 seating, you get a full enjoyment of weird and quirky microgames with Wario at the helm. Once the credits roll, you are not done just yet because there are extras you can do to unlock more microgames and stages if you are willing to put the time.
Otherwise, you don't have to worry about completing the game in the first place if you don't get any big reward in the end. But that's a highly subjective statement, but I'll let you be the judge of that. Hence why my final score of Wario Ware Inc. gets a
Excellent!
out of 10.